Shalom, call Halayim La Yahweh, Bahasham Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Rachak Wadash. Double honors unto our apostles and elders of Great Millstone that rule well, much peace and blessings to our sincere Hakim out there that's pushing this 100% truth with all sincerity, faith, and with charity. This is your brother Ash from the Great Millstone Miami Camp, coming back with another lesson through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bahasham Yahweh Shai. Lord willing, this lesson is edifying unto the elect. This is going to be a quick lesson going into this saying that I have pulled up right here, and I'm just going to go into it, bring out some, a few scriptures, and again, Lord willing, it's edifying. Okay, should have a couple ways that you could say this saying. It goes, a smart man learns from his mistakes, a wise man learns from the mistakes of others. Okay, I have another way of saying it. A smart man makes a mistake, learns from it, and never makes that mistake again. But a wise man finds a smart man and learns from him how to avoid the mistake altogether. Okay. And in this truth, we strive to be wise. That's the goal. Okay. And there's levels to wisdom. We start off as fools in this truth. Okay, coming from the world, these people in the world, they're fools. No matter how smart they are according to man's wisdom, their so-called IQ or their degrees that they may have received from Esau's fool system, okay, which is nothing more than indoctrination. They don't teach people how to think, how to properly use their brains, okay, because this world is set up to produce slaves for the elite, okay, but true wisdom is found in the Holy Scriptures. And again, that's what we strive to receive. True wisdom. And in this truth, on our path to be wise, we're going to make mistakes, okay? The scriptures say a just man or a righteous man falleth 7 times and getteth back up, but a fool shall fall into mischief. Roughly paraphrasing. So a righteous man, a man who's striving to be wise, a man who's striving to be perfect, which perfection comes from our faith in Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. We're still going to make mistakes, okay? 7 times, which is a complete number, okay? Sometimes you may make the same mistake more than once, which is a foolish thing. But again, we start off as fools in this truth. As we grow and as we get further along the path, we have less room for making the same mistake more than once, okay? That's why the Apostle Paul said this. Let's grab that first. I believe that's in the book of Hebrews, the 12th chapter. This is Hebrews chapter 12 and verse 1. Wherefore, seeing we also are compassed about with so great a cloud of witnesses, let us lay aside every weight and the sin which doth so easily beset us, and let us run with patience the race that is set before us. Right, that's a path. We're on a path. We're on a mission. Okay, and it's spiritual because I'm walking along a path right now. But let's read it in the NLT. It says, "Therefore, since we are surrounded by such a huge crowd of witnesses to the life of faith, let us strip off every weight that slows us down, especially the sin that so easily trips us up." So there's things in our life, certain weaknesses that we may have, that we may fall into more than once. But this truth, this path, this walk that we're on, that the Apostle Paul likened unto a race, is not a sprint. It's not a 40-yard dash. Okay? It is a marathon. It is an endurance race. Okay? It's not about how fast you can go. It's about how far you can go. Because we've seen certain individuals come into this truth and go really fast. But what happens? They burn out. Right? They have another saying, a fire that burns the brightest often burns the quickest. It burns out the fastest. Okay? So we want to have a good pace, a steady pace. Right? Like they say, slow and steady wins the race. You have the story of the tortoise and the hare. We know the story. The hare started off fast, but he stopped. Meanwhile, the tortoise kept a steady pace and never stopped and ended up winning. Okay, we want to be like the tortoise and not like the hare. All right? So again, there may be a time where you make the same mistake once, but we want to learn from our mistakes. That's being smart. That's just basic knowledge. Okay? That's just basic wisdom. And again, there's levels to wisdom. But we want to strive for perfection. We want to go up. We want to increase in wisdom and knowledge and in understanding. Right? Wisdom is the principal thing, meaning the first thing, the chiefest thing in this thing of ours. But with all thy getting, get ye understanding. Okay? So understanding is just as important. With all the wisdom we get, we must get understanding of why it is necessary to use and apply wisdom. Okay? And that can only come from experience, right? But there's a reason why we have leaders in this thing of ours. There's a reason why Yahweh Bashem Yahushai has set up order. Okay, this is not an every man for himself type of thing. This is a team effort, okay? Yes, the scriptures say, seek out thine own salvation with fear and trembling. But this is a group effort. This is a body that the Lord is building up. We are all united. We're all linked. And the men that the Lord has placed us among, whether that be in the camp that you're in, you know, speaking to the brothers that's in the camps, or you may be a brother who the Lord hasn't placed among a camp as of yet. You still have our leaders on YouTube that we learn from, starting with our apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Okay, and the Lord has the Spirit on our apostles and elders and various elders, leaders throughout the world who speak. The Lord has the Spirit on them to speak on different testimonies of things that they go through. Okay? Because these men have experience. They've been tried. They've had their senses exercised to be able to discern between both good and evil. Okay? Our apostles and elders have been through a lot. And the different leaders throughout the states or the world. And they speak on these things. So that gives us an opportunity to learn from them. Okay? And that brings in the next level of wisdom, which is learning from the mistakes of others. Okay? Basic wisdom or basic knowledge is learning from your own mistakes, yeah. But the next level is learning from the mistakes of others. And that's why the Lord, has the Spirit on our leaders, our elders, to speak on their mistakes. Okay? Especially if you're a brother, a member of this body, and you have leaders and men of rank, higher rank above you. You know these men personally. You see these men. Okay? And of course, we make mistakes that we're not proud of, and we do our best to conceal just to be discreet, for the sake of discretion. But there's times when mistakes are made openly where we see these mistakes. Okay? That goes along with our leaders or elders actually sharing mistakes that they have made. And that is not to down men, because again, a righteous man falls 7 times. But that gives us an opportunity to learn from their mistakes, which, in all honesty, is a beautiful thing. And if you're a wise man, you're going to capitalize off of that in a righteous way. You're going to learn from that. Okay, we're all, us younger men in this truth, we're in a privileged position. We have entered into other men's labors. Okay, it's like a company has been started. The first 5-10 years, let's say a company that has been around for 50 years, 40 years. And is highly successful, highly efficient. That is very profitable. And you come into this company that is already set, and you get to reap the benefits of this company. You weren't there the first 5 years, the first 10 years, when things were not as highly successful as they are now. Okay, you're entering into other men's labors. So again, you were not around when things had to be built from the ground up, when certain mistakes were made. Okay? Because the Lord is grooming us all to be leaders. That is the key to understand. If you're of the hopeful elect, you're a brother that's out here doing the work of Yahweh Basham Shah on the forefront. You must know and understand that, yes, you at the present, you may be a brother of a lower rank or lower degree. You may not have as much responsibility Okay, the scriptures say, Yahushua said, to whom much is given, much is required. But as we go further among this walk, you're going to be elevated. Okay? That comes with the territory. And there will come a time where you have to step up. That's just how this thing goes. Okay? So, at the moment, at the present, you're in a privileged position to learn, to increase, so that when it is your time to step up, you don't make the same mistakes. You see, it's a beautiful thing when you think of it. You have a lot of men that come in this thing that desire a high seat. They desire authority. They desire preeminence that they have not earned. Okay? Like when King David went to fight Goliath, they tried to give him armor. And roughly paraphrasing, what did he say? I have not proven myself, basically. I can't put this on. You know? Roughly paraphrasing. If you brothers, you should know what I'm talking about. Right? So, these men that come into this thing desiring preeminence, desiring a position that they have not earned, what happens? As the Apostle Paul said, at least being a novice, he becomes lifted up with pride. Okay? That's why a novice shouldn't be giving a leadership position, because you don't know nothing. You haven't been tested. Okay? So, as a younger man in this truth, it's best to just take the low, play the back end, work behind the scenes, so that you can get a good feel for this thing. Okay? It's a privileged position. You don't have much responsibility. So when things go left, you won't have to answer for them. All right? The heads, the leaders, they're bearing all the responsibility. They're first in line. When Esau rolls in and the demonization starts, they're going to go up for the leaders first. That's another reason why we have to pray for our apostles and elders and the leaders. Okay, Satan, the spiritual demon Satan, who is highly intelligent, much more intelligent than we are. Okay, he understands that if you cut the head of the body, you kill the body. You may cut off an arm or cut off a hand. That person is not going to die immediately, especially if he gets immediate medical attention. But if you decapitate someone, they're dead. You see? So the leaders are the most attacked. So when men desire position and rank that they have not earned, they are showing how foolish they are. Okay? So I don't want to make this lesson long. Let me just get what I wanted to get. I believe I'm making my point. Okay, this is Sirach, or Ecclesiasticus 21 and verse 1. My son, hast thou sinned? Do so no more, but ask pardon for thy former sins. Right, you make a mistake. Do your best not to do that again. Learn, right? Okay, I'm going to scroll down. Right? This whole chapter is good, but I'm just going to hit certain points. Okay. Verse 12, he that is not wise will not be taught, but there is a wisdom which multiplieth bitterness. Right? With much wisdom that he that increaseth knowledge increaseth sorrow. Roughly paraphrasing. So again, the further along this path you go, it gets more serious. Right? Verse 15, if a skillful man hear a wise word, he will commend it and add unto it. But as soon as one of no understanding heareth it, it displeaseth him, and he casteth it behind his back. But the point is, if a skillful man hear a wise word, he will commend it and add unto it. You see, we're entering into other men's labors. So we're hearing the wise sayings, the wise words of our apostles, elders, leaders, camp heads, right? Bishops, deacons, so forth and so on, right? If you're wise, you're going to add unto it. Okay, and the same goes if they make a mistake. You see it, you pray for them, and you learn from it. Okay. Let's see if there's anything else in here. Verse 21, learning is unto a wise man as an ornament of gold, and like a bracelet upon his right arm. So learning is like precious jewels. Like Jake, when they're going into something, bringing out knowledge, or they say they're dropping jewels. So if you're a wise man, you gather, you learn in a way where we as a people, Jake, like to put on jewelry. So we have an opportunity to get decked out in the spirit. Okay. So again, we're in a privileged position talking to us younger men. Again, there will come a time when we must step up. So be attentive. Take notes. Don't be aloof. Don't be out of the loop. Pay attention to what's going on. Okay? Let's see something else. What are the steps? Let's see. Steps of the door. This is Sirach chapter 6 and 36. And if thou seest a man of understanding, get thee betimes unto him, and let thy foot wear the steps of his door. Oh, you know what? I'm gonna start up. Sirach 6 and 33. If thou love to hear, thou shalt receive understanding. And if thou bow thine ear, thou shalt be wise. You see that? How do you bow your ear? Watching the videos. Okay? Bow your ear. Pay attention. Take notes. Right? You will become wise. Stand in the multitude of the elders, and cleave unto him that is wise. Be willing to hear every godly discourse, right? When you're willing to hear every godly discourse, that opens the door for you to learn from the mistakes of others. Okay, we're all on the same path. It's just certain men are further along the path. And along the path, mistakes are going to be made. But if you listen to the men at the front of the path, when you get to that point where they made certain mistakes, you don't have to make those same mistakes. You see, it's really simple. Okay? And let not the parables of understanding escape thee. And if thou seest a man of understanding, get thee betimes unto him, and let thy foot wear the steps of his door. You see? Let thy mind be upon the ordinances of the Lord, and meditate continually in his commandments. He shall establish thine heart, and give thee wisdom at thine own desire. You see that? And that's beautiful, because that's how we started the lesson. We should be desirous of wisdom, desirous of knowledge and understanding. And this is how you get it. Okay, so with that, I'm going to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh Basham Yahushai. Until the next one, Shalom.